All right.
I like your background, Matt.
Thanks. Yeah, I found that's one of the Microsoft backgrounds, and
I changed mine.
I looked that up. So I think that's up in Canada somewhere.
I don't have an agenda because I have my email problems from earlier. So
Okay.
I don't know if Andrew, if you just want to go ahead and start us off or whatever, that's fine.
I had a first thing on the agenda was just a recap of last month's meeting. So let me pull up those minutes real quick. We had no guests. We talked about the Beechwood Road study and just identifying some residents for a like a focus group. And then I said I would check with and Bear Becker on update, and we do have those updated drawings.
Okay.
So we'll cover that. We'll talk about Beechwood Road study separately. We talked about sidewalks, and I've got updates on that tonight. We discussed this parking on Sunnymead and Cornell. I have updates on that. And then we talked about site distance and sight lines, which I don't have on the agenda for tonight, but we can discuss that under the update, under the committee member updates or comments if you want to. I know we had a couple emails back and forth shortly after that meeting.
Oh yeah, you did send our current ordinance. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing I have on the agenda then is comments from guests. There was a person who reached out today to Joe Christofeld saying that they wanted to potentially comment. There are 5 people watching the YouTube stream. So if there was someone on YouTube watching on YouTube who wanted to comment, if you could type it in the chat that's with the live stream, we can address that issue. So let's get this. I'm not seeing anything there so far. I would assume if there's people wanting to comment, they're probably commenting on things that are on the agenda. So maybe we can just start going through the agenda, and if something pops up in the comments, we can address it.
Okay, that works.
So the first thing the next thing I have then is the Beechwood Road study update. Get to that part of my screen here. So I think a couple of different things. One is we have sort of really exceeded the scope of the original agreement with Bear Becker. So we have to, we'll have to take a look at that and what we want to move forward. We added some more alternatives that were not in the original scope of the project. So, one of the things we're gonna have to look at budget moving forward, basically. I have not had a chance to work with Katie. She does have a proposal, but there may be some things that areas for savings in that proposal. So I don't have a number to give you tonight, but but one update I wanted to give you is that we're gonna need to allocate some more funding to the study portion. I do think we're very close to where we can get together a focus group and get some feedback on the ideas. I think really and Mike, Mike Yeager, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I know you and I had a conversation, but I think probably the last thing we need right now is just a little bit more detailed renderings. And we're probably at a spot where we can make some presentations. However that happens in Red County right now. I don't know whether we try to do it on Zoom or whether we try to wait until it's possible to meet in person, I'm open to suggestion.
I kind of feel like we have to wait until we can open or till we can meet in person. I just don't think it will come across. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we've just come this far and I don't want it to get sidetracked because of that. I'd rather wait a little bit longer and do it right personally.
Right.
And get a good focus group. I mean, we haven't really been able to do that. And, again, I'd rather wait until we can do something in person.
I
Well-
think so. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that probably gives us some time to get the renderings complete anyway.
Yeah. So we're working on a rendering now just so you can see what it would look like, but it'll be a video and everything. So it'll just be for one option. But it's like a drive through and it actually shows like an actual house and trees, and it'll show what the sidewalk and no utilities, all that kind of stuff could look like. And then you can take a screenshot. So it could be a simple image too. So I think once that's ready, I think it's be good for us to kind of sit and take a look at it, and we can figure out if it makes sense to wait or if we could send this out to a small focus group first or whatever you guys think. But I think once we have a rendering that really paints a good picture better than what we have right now, I think that might kind of help us steer the path forward. If that makes sense.
Yep.
But it's really cool. What I think you'll like what comes out of this. And I can send you guys an email of an example that'll be similar, just so you can see it.
Okay.
Okay, so for now, then I'll get you some more information on updating the scope with Rebecca. I know Kim and Mike Yeager talked about, the focus group, since you both have, substantial
Relationships.
street, yeah. Try to get that together, and then we'll aim for doing that when we can be in person.
Okay.
So, and it, that might be a good tie-in. It might be good. There's a little delay with the potential for some stuff to happen on Royal Drive, some developments there later this year, early next year. That may make us, think of some things we didn't think of currently with Beechwood, and the potential that some traffic might divert that way. So it's probably not a bad thing. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think, just wait to see what that rendering looks like. And I'm excited to see it, the thing that Mike proposed. So.
Perfect.
Chief, just agreeing with whatever changes may happen with Royal Drive. I don't know that we'll actually see anything there, and the traffic will generate before we would see what construction start on Beechwood, but at least we'll have some idea what's going to be there and some projected traffic.
Right. Okay. Next thing I have on the agenda is sidewalk inventory. So my last update was that I was working with PDS, and then we want to also, they were going to do a comprehensive, not just sidewalks, but signs and all city assets and right away. I don't have anything back yet from Precision Concrete, but we played a little phone tag there, and mostly that's my fault. Busy couple weeks, but so those are both moving forward. I anticipate we'll have a sidewalk inventory, I'd say, within the next month or two, and have a plan to, in advance of budget planning to move forward. So I think it'll be a good comprehensive look at the sidewalks and allow us to really address some of the biggest hazards that are out there.
Okay.
So, any questions on sidewalks?
Mm-mm.
All right, just check back on YouTube, didn't see anything there. Next thing I had is Sunnymead parking feedback. So I sent an email out earlier. I had a couple of letters that I think we received back. 3 letters, or we received feedback in email or written form from 3 residents. 1 sent a follow-up to theirs, and then I had also received 1 phone call. So And I think we sent out about 9 letters to the residents there just saying, hey, we're studying this particular area of parking for removal, looking for feedback. I would say my impression from first of all, the phone call that I received was a resident who said that she did not want to see the parking go away, and she did not have an issue with businesses parking there because she felt like it was a good way to support the businesses. She does not live directly where the parking is. She is in close proximity. So I sent a couple houses in either direction from the area we're talking about. We had the resident who really it's directly in front of their house, has asked to have the parking removed and sent a follow-up email with a photograph of the spots full. Resident immediately next door to that, who would like to see the restaurant staff not filling those spots, but does not, the way I read the letter, doesn't want to see the parking go away. What I got.
Well, how can we differentiate? You really can't.
Well, and I think he recognized that too in the letter, that you can't restrict it. It's a matter of trying to work with the businesses and asking them to have their staff park elsewhere. So I think that's an easy step. Now that we kind of put this on pause for a while, because when we first started to address this issue, coronavirus hit, and it really wasn't an issue for a while. Now it's back again. So I think step one is to talk to the businesses again to see what alternatives there are for their employee parking. I know in the past, the city of Lakeside Park has been willing to allow some, other than I think on their council nights, they've been willing to allow some parking from the restaurant staff in their lot. I've not reached out to Mayor Jansing to reconfirm that, but I think that's an option. And the house that most of the parking is directly in front of, the one issue that I can see with their driveway, and I don't have a great way of addressing this, and Matt, you might have a thought on this, but their driveway meets the road at an angle. So when someone parks, we don't have, and this came up in council, I think a year or two ago, I kind of presented, other cities have restrictions on how close you can park to a driveway. Ours just says you can't block a driveway, our ordinances. So what happens is, if the car parks pretty close to their driveway and their driveway comes at an angle, it is difficult to get in and out of their driveway. I believe if I looked at a map, I think the parking ends at their driveway. So, there's a potential we could move the sign, but that would be putting a sign directly in their front yard, to where essentially take away one parking spot that would make it easier for them to get in and out of their driveway. And that's the picture that was sent in the follow-up email.
Well, that makes sense. Because of the curve and all that, it's just, one spot. I'm open to that.
I will tell you,
I can share my screen if
yeah.
want. I've got that up right now in that area. So this is I believe this is the driveway that you're talking about.
Yes.
And we do restrict parking through this curve already, just because of the bend there. I didn't look to see exactly where that sign is. Well, there it is. You can actually see it right there, but it says no parking between signs. That from this spot back. So we have parking allowed currently between here, and you can see the shadow. The next sign is up here. I can't zoom in any closer on this particular type of map. But so we've got room for 5 or 6 cars there, and I guess it's always kind of packed full. But that's we can kind of go back and forth with this, I guess, depending on what we decide. But it's I just want to show you where the signs were.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm open to suggestions on this one too. I will say from a safety standpoint, it's, we have restricted it in the curve to try to address the issue of people coming through that curve and coming upon other cars head on. There's no, there's certainly, I think, maybe anecdotal evidence that it's can be hard to navigate, but there are no collisions in the area that I have to report. I don't know. Does anybody have any thoughts on?
So it's already, but so right now this photo shows people parking where it's restricted anyway.
No, that section is parking allowed.
Oh, okay.
It's restricted from here. It's currently restricted from if you see the cursor moving there, Tim?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's restricted up here there's a shadow right here. No parking here to corner. So here all the way up the Dixie Highway.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
And then this is where it's allowed. And then from here, it's a shadow of the no parking sign right there. And it's roughly back here somewhere before you get up to Princeton. That's where the extents of those signs are.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I mean, again, the general feel of the letters is sort of mixed. We have one basically saying, I don't see a reason to remove it. One saying, I just rather the businesses not use it. And one saying that they'd like no parking. And then one phone call that said, keep it. So there's not an overwhelming sentiment one way or another on this one.
Right. Right.
I would say maybe we try to move that no parking between signs up a little bit so that it's easier for access to that driveway that comes in at an angle, and see if that.
You basically move this up to this point here.
Yeah, a few feet from there, probably. Yeah, because
Right.
The idea is that give them a buffer so that they can get out of their driveway.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know that we need to totally get rid of it. I mean, it is public parking on a, I mean, it's just, people need to be able to park on the street from time to time, but I hear where he's coming from and I get that. So, I mean, let's try that and see if it makes it any better. I mean, obviously we can't limit who parks there.
Yeah. Well, and I'll reach out to the businesses and just ask, if they can ask their employees to look for alternatives, and I'll have that conversation, and maybe the combination of the two things will take care of the issue. And if not, we'll readdress it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know where else, if they can't park in the business's lot, I'm not sure where else they're supposed to park, I mean.
Well, and I mean, to be fair, I think that's the point of the one letter, is that the businesses are supposed to have the proper amount of parking for not just their customers, but their employees as well. So that's, I do understand. I appreciate where that resident is coming from. Is basically, it's not like this is an overflow situation where the businesses are busy and customers are coming over here and parking temporarily, for an hour while they eat or something like that. It's employees who are parking there for,
night after night. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, to that point, I think there's a conversation to be had of, yes, it's public parking, and it's kind of, we either have it. There's three options. We have it, we don't have it, or we have a city sticker program, which no one wants to. I mean, that's just a mess. I mean, I think a lot of cities, in fact, I think Fort Mitchell had one at one point in time and got rid of it.
Yep. But when I first got my license, I had to have a sticker on my car. That was 10 years ago, though.
So I think the way to fix it for now is have the conversation with the restaurants, and move that sign. I'll reach back out to the residents that are kind of immediately in the area and let them know what our plan is, and we'll evaluate. And if it doesn't work, then we'll
try something else. Okay.
Well, while we're on that subject, if we want to talk about the other part of that, Chief, the location of the signs. It's part of our minutes from last meeting. I don't have any extra signs up currently, and but we've got basically this leg of the triangle is already signed. This leg, I don't think we have a problem on this leg with people trying to park there that I'm aware of. I don't know if it would help to sign this or not, but on Cornell, the right side, if you will, as you're in, is the no parking side. So you are able to park on the left. So the legal side to park on, you can see it switches from this section of Sunnymead over here, this section of Cornell. And this is a car that's legally parked there right now. So we're talking about somewhere where I have these, close to where I have these markers, having no parking between signs, type of signs there. Now, I just stuck these in before I had the image up. We like to limit the number of extra markers, but I think we've got no parking this side of the street, so we've got that covered here, but looks like we could move this sign back here, but just locating those somewhere in here. I probably should consolidate where these signs are, maybe either put it on the no parking sign. It occasionally, when you have the parking switch from one side of the street to the other, you get some kind of no man's land where people don't know if they can or can't park there, and you try to avoid having too many signs up. So,
well, we have the ordinance that says you can't park within 30 feet of an intersection. Now, we don't typically mark those intersections. There's a few that we have because of, which really is all that would be doing here. Technically, although people do park, I have seen people parked where that catch basin is.
Right, I've seen this right through.
Technically, that is not legal parking currently. It's just it's
Okay.
an ordinance. It's an ordinance that's not. There's no signs to reflect it.
Right. So, well, on that note, just to help out with the situation, to help prevent this, I mean, I'm sure the goal of putting the signs up is to let people know where they can and can't park, and help this being a sensitive area out. So we got to, if we're going to put a no parking between signs up, a one on this end, well, we have to put one up on both ends.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So we got to decide where to install it through here. That's something that I guess it sounds like you and I need to maybe meet out there and look at it.
I think you're about where you need to be. I would say that one car that's currently parked there, I'd put it behind that car. I think from that car on, you're probably fine. That's probably enough clearance for that intersection. And then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're just trying to avoid a lot of people use driving around this as a U-turn, if you will. They'll pull in, turn around, and this is people who are heading northbound on Dixie Highway who find they want to go southbound. They'll use this as a way to turn around and then come back out here.
Mm-hmm.
That's seen that my whole life there, growing up on there. But
Your sign on the left, though, Matt, it's going to have arrows on both sides, right? Because you're not going to be able to park beyond that sign either.
This one will have to. I think it's probably best if we have a no park. If we add a sign to the stop sign that says no parking between signs, because we add that sign that's parallel to the to the street, and so the signs point at each other. We have the signs end up pointing at each other on the two signs. Then we also, beyond that, have no parking this side of the street.
Okay.
And I don't know how, that's what I was explaining. I don't know how to make that work without having two signs, two different poles. Because parking switch the sides.
Yeah. Unless the sign on the right just had an arrow one direction, and then the sign on the stop sign had an arrow in both directions. Just said no parking.
Why is it in that direction there anyway? I mean,
what are you asking, Kim?
well, I mean, it just seems like it's not consistent with every place else, like just that there's parking on that other side. I don't know.
It's where it's basically when they install the water main, they put the fire hydrants, they switch sides, and usually they
Oh, you can't park. So it's a fire hydrant. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we have a couple other streets like that, and it can be confusing.
Yeah. Okay.
I think on Pleasant Ridge we have one fire hydrant on the wrong side, and all the rest of them are on the other side of the street. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So Matt, you and I can meet out there and solidify it. But I think we have a plan to move forward. Give this a try. Like I said, I'll have a conversation with the business association about the issue and see if we can get some buy-in and some help there. And if it doesn't solve the issue, then we'll come back to the drawing board.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That brings us to comments from committee members.
Currently, I have nothing to add. Nothing new that's come up to discuss that other than what we've, kind of been talking about all along. So I'm good.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Well, our next meeting is set for December 7th. So hopefully by then we may have a little bit of data anyway on how things are going on Sunnymead. I should have the proposals on the sidewalks, and then maybe we can might have some better idea on the rendering by then. That might be a little soon, but
Okay.
perfect. All right. Well, for three of you, I'll see you here again in a few minutes on the council meeting.
All right.
All
See you
right.
then.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.